Hi, I'm Darryl Learie, and this is the higher truth about aliens. Stephen Hawking, who I don't think is particularly smart. Well, I think he's definitely smart when it comes to cosmology and you know, which is the larger scale physics, and quantum, the small scale physics. I think he lacks a lot of intuitive wisdom in this kind of thing. Stephen Hawking released a video or commentary saying that, and it was reporting a number of papers that if aliens ever came to Earth, humanity would be screwed in the same ways that Native Americans were screwed by the trading with Europeans, because they didn't know about how the European market worked. Um, so I'm going to point out some, I think, logical and common sense fallacies to do with this. Number one, there is no resources that are rare to Earth that cannot be found in space. I mean, they've even identified objects like the size of a moon made of pure diamond. You know, there's no elements or compounds that are exclusive to our planet. If they could fly to our planet, you know, they can surely excavate these resources if they should need them anywhere else in space. Because even the heavier elements of Earth are nothing more than exploded star debris, stardust, if you will. So that rules out taking over humanity for resources. Secondly, the second reason that people invade other people is for the labor force. Historically, cultures have done it, you know, like the Romans, where they invade another culture and take over that culture in the Roman Empire and add a larger labor force to their culture, thus making their culture stronger. One fallacy I think of this is that just because our society, meaning the whole global society, requires such a labor force to maintain it and keep it growing, does not necessarily mean that's the way things have to be to maintain higher order of things. It's I believe that we have to implement so much labor to just maintain our society and keep our society going, because we don't have the understanding of machines that could rebuild themselves, repair themselves, and machines that could be self-operative. And I certainly think this would be a very definite operation that such advanced aliens would have. They would have a planet with machines that could literally think for themselves and problem solve in ways that machines and computers on our planet simply cannot, ruling out this huge acquired labor force. You know, I mean, plus, if there was a need for implementing labor, or like biological labor, like people or some kind of animals, I think they're smart enough to breed enough people to do that, or enough of those kind of animals. So I don't think they would invade us for that labor force. Um, you know, what I find really intriguing is that if aliens did come to Earth, the first instinctual thing that humanity would do in response is they would try to gather their most powerful, representatives and most scientific, brilliant minds to work with these aliens, and this idea that what the aliens could offer us in knowledge to do with technologies and solutions and this type of thing would be an add-on to our earthly knowledge pool. But I'm not big on this. I think it's an expression of human ego to think that the smartest people, could somehow have stuff explained to them that would just further evolve humanity to such a higher state. I think realistically what would happen, seeing that these aliens have been able to achieve things that seem to break our laws of physics, even if they're following our laws of physics, but found loopholes or alternatives to do so, like traveling faster than speed of light, whatever. I think what would literally happen is that I don't think their knowledge and their intelligence would just simply be an add-on. I think that's human ego to think that we would even understand such an add-on. I think really these alien species would be redefining and rewriting everything we know about physics, or almost everything, except for the most simple stuff, classical physics, right? But everything theoretical, superstring theory and M theory and all this stuff. I think the aliens would be completely rewritten. The actual laws that we think exist and the actual theories that most people entertain and believe to some extent. Also, there begs the question too, is why would they even offer us such advances? The reality of the situation is they may find that we are spiritually or emotionally unevolved to handle such a flux of technological advances to grow our society in such a way that they may decide that we're simply too dangerous to ourselves or others, and with such technology we would most likely hurt ourselves or others. So they probably wouldn't be too big on that idea. Now, a lot of our deals to do with aliens seem to have a lot of psychological human ego. We think, if they come over here, it must be for some evil means like war and this type of thing. But again, we're implementing our human personified greed, selfishness, desperation onto something that we don't understand, and we're trying to emulate what they would do, because that's probably what we would do if we were a lot more intelligent. But the thing is, we don't know if they can even be personified in such a way, and the thing is, they may even experience emotions that we don't even experience, just like how higher primates can experience humor, like laughter, whereas the majority of animals can't experience that particular emotion. Alien intelligence is probably has an introduction of faculties that we can't even comprehend as of yet. Now, we're not just talking about like higher IQs as gauged in comparatively to the human intelligence, but we're talking about capacities that we just do not have, like perhaps even the ability to imagine things that they have not experienced. Like a person cannot imagine a color they've never seen. They cannot imagine a sound they've never heard. These are the limitations of our ability to think. And they may even have diatomic abilities to think. So they may be able to think about one thing at one time and think about something else completely different at another time. a true sense of multitasking, which is something we simply don't have. People think they multitask, but what they really do is spend a second on one thought and then they flip and spend a second on another thought. Psychological tests have proven that people can only think of one thing at a time. So I mean, these are far more reasonable, common sense approaches to the whole alien thing, and and the thing is, just as a dog, that we keep as pets, looks around, and whether they're curious or not, they have no understanding of all our technologies, you know, or why they exist or their purpose and so forth. It might be just like that for us when we have these alien phenomena like crop circles, cattle mutilations, even anal probing. It could be that they're just so superior intellectually that we'll just never quite get the correlation to what that correlates to, or what exactly it is they're trying to achieve. So I really don't think that that we really do have that scope of understanding. Now, as I don't think aliens are necessarily evil. You know, it might be that they understand things in such a way that what we call common sense, to their thinking is just nonsense. You know, there could be a picture so much larger than the big picture that we think we can see. So I mean, if aliens did want to make contact with people, it would make more sense that they contact people that really acknowledge in some way that they don't know anything. Like Socrates said, like, true wisdom is in knowing nothing, because if the aliens met the most brilliant people, by our scale of IQ, they would be facing a conundrum. It'd be like, okay, so this we're stuck with this species that thinks it knows, and because it thinks it knows so much, that's its biggest flaw. So how can we possibly explain how things really are? So I would say that is the truth behind the higher truth behind aliens. Later. Don't forget to comment.